Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Selma City Council regular meeting after what hopefully everybody had a good Labor Day weekend. It's September 2nd, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Selma City Council chambers at 1710 Tucker Street in Selma, California, 93662. The teleconference phone number is 301-715-8592. Webinar ID is 891-6864-5005. When on the phone, if you wish to address the council during the public comment portion of the agenda, press star 9 to raise your hand and we will select you from the meeting queue. Press star 6 to unmute and mute yourself. Notice to meeting attendees, members of the audience shall not engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including the utterance of threatening or abusive language or other acts which disturb, disrupt, or impede or otherwise render the orderly conduct of a city council meeting infeasible. Okay, for tonight, since we do not have a guest for our invocation, I'll ask everyone to please bow your head for our prayer. Lord, we come before you today with humble hearts, seeking your guidance as we gather to make decisions for the good of our community. Grant us all wisdom beyond our own understanding, clarity in our discussions, and compassion in our deliberations. Help us listen with respect, speak with kindness, and act with integrity. May our work be rooted in justice, equity, and peace for all who call Selma home. Let us be mindful of those who are most vulnerable, and may our efforts reflect a commitment to the common good. Bless Selma, its leaders, its citizens, and all who serve. May this meeting be productive and conducted with a spirit of unity and cooperation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Be good.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Avalos.
Here.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Mayor Robertson.
Here. Potential conflicts of interest. Any council member has a potential conflict of interest. Now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing or voting on the matter. Agenda changes or deletions to better accommodate members of the public or inconvenience in the order of presentation. Items on the agenda may not be presented or acted on in the order listed. Additions to the agenda may be added only pursuant to California Government Code, Section 54954.2b. Any changes tonight? City Attorney. On to oral communications in that case. At this time, any member of the public may address the City Council regarding any item on the regular meeting agenda over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public are asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Do we have any oral communications at this time? Come on up.
Salas. I have a question, actually. Every time I go to the post office, I see that they had put a new fire hydrant there right on the corner and by the post office, but that curb was never painted red. Is that not an operating fire hydrant? Should the curb around it be painted red? Because if you park, you're parked right in front of the fire hydrant, if you park on the north side of the post office. Just wondering.
Archie.
Yes, to my understanding, that hydrant is operational, and I'll have to look into the red striping there. I will just add to the community that the red curbing is not a requirement as to enforce the distance with regards to where you park, but it's more of a reminder to the community to not park there. So I'll coordinate with the Public Works Department to ensure that that does get striped appropriately.
Well, we know they're downtown right now, so thank you. All right, oral communication.
Hi, my name is Fonda Cole, and I'm coming to you tonight as a Selma citizen and as a mother to special needs children. I moved into this town 8 years ago, and in that time, I've now had more children. I have 4 kids with special needs as of autism and some other varying disabilities. Currently, the street I live on is very unsafe for any child whatsoever. My children cannot play in the front yard or be active in the front of our home. It's not even safe for my children to walk home by themselves. I have to make sure I'm with them at all times. At this time, I'm asking that you guys, the city council members, please put up signs advertising that there are children with autism on that street. There are multiple signs that vary from caution, autistic child, to children, autistic children in the area. On my street, within the last year, we've had 6 drunk drivers hit parked cars. During Halloween, we've had multiple children hit. It's just a very dangerous street. During school hours, everybody uses my road as a freeway. And I will tell you, I live on Hillcrest, which is between Wright and McCall. So that is the access to the or the elementary school and to the high school. We are very, very high traffic area. So at this time, I would love to have a sign. I will pay for it if I need to. I have no problem. I just don't want to get in trouble for attaching it to a city sign that is there.
Fonda, Ms. Cole, I would encourage you in terms of our council meetings. We have all our department heads here, including our chief or our Commander Cannon tonight, and we take a break, a 5-minute break when citizens are encouraged to meet with your department heads, and you may just want to bring your concern up with Commander Cannon as well in terms of the traffic there and the issues there, so that he brings it up with the council as well. We hear what you're saying.
Okay, I have, sir, I've come in personally 5 times. I've went to the fire department too, to also verify what they believe would be acceptable in the front of my home, because I'm a single mom with 8 kids at home. So if they come into my home and something is wrong with me, they need to know that there's special needs kids there. So I've been here multiple times. I've left multiple voicemails for Mr. Trilio. I don't want to get that last name wrong, but I've left multiple voicemails. And I've been repeatedly coming into this office. So this is what I was told to do next.
Okay.
But I will wait for the 5-minute break, and then hopefully somebody can meet with me.
Absolutely, you can speak to Commander Cannon, and this is an issue. We have that traffic study showing that is a really tough intersection there. So I mean that it's been a tough one for many years. There's a lot of traffic there and a lot of issues. So thank you for bringing that to our concern.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely mention it to Public Works as well. Thank you. Anybody else with oral communications at this time? Do we have anybody online or on the phone with a concern or with a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
All right, thank you. With that, we'll bring it back to our first item of the evening, which is a special presentation, the California APA Award for the Downtown Strategic Plan. Deputy City Manager Keene.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. We have members of the Central Chapter of Cal APA here to present us with an award for the city's Downtown Strategic Plan that was completed with our partners from Ramey and Associates. As everybody knows, that plan identifies a vision for our downtown with various intermediate projects to be completed over a rather, not a rather long, but a period of time, 10 to 15 years. And so that plan was submitted to APA for an award, and we were lucky enough to be chosen and selected for the Award of Excellence. So we have Caroline Illick and her associate Jenna here from the Central California chapter, who will present that award to staff.
Great, thanks so much for coming out.
Aha, yes, I can hear myself louder. I'll go ahead and start over. My name is Carolina Illick, and I am here on behalf tonight of the American Planning Association, the Central California section. I work as a planning consultant for VRPA Technologies, and with me tonight is Jenna Chilingerian, who also is on the American Planning Association Board of Directors, and she works for Precision Civil Engineering. And we are here on behalf of the Board of Directors of the CenCal APA. The American Planning Association is the professional organization for planners throughout the United States and actually the world. And in Central California, we have about 200 planners. And we're the smallest but mightiest section, we believe, in California. California has about 5,000 to 6,000 planners. And so we've got 200 of those, and one of the largest geographies. We cover all the way from Kern County in the south part, all the way up to the Stockton area, and then even Inyo and Mono County. So we're a huge geographic area. And as Jerome mentioned, the American Planning Association issues a call for projects every year to award, to recognize great planning projects. And we are very proud to present tonight the Award of Excellence for the Planning Project Award for the Central Section for Your Downtown Strategic Plan for the City of Selma and Ramey and Associates. And I wanted to just take a moment here to recognize the hard work that went into putting this plan together. We'll go ahead and be giving you this plaque, but essentially, we know that this was a downtown strategic plan. I was on jury, and the panel was very impressed, always recognizing that downtowns are really the heart of our communities. And the fact that you had a 3-day charrette, that you had all this public participation, that you were able to really identify very specific strategies and tactics for revitalizing your downtown and listening to the residents and the community members come together and put this plan together to move forward based upon that community input and the design principles coming out of the charrette. The jury was very impressed with this. So we want to make sure that we award and that we recognize excellent planning in the Central California. And I also just wanted to mention that the CenCal APA, we give out a specific section only award recognizing a very excellent project for our section. And this was the section only award recipient. So with that, I want to recognize my colleague who came with me to present this award and recognize you as a city council and your planning team and the consultant for all the excellent work they've done. Congratulations.
Thank you. You want to come up and get a picture in front of the city council?
And I wanted to recognize the planning staff also. We have Lupe Macias, Miriam, Matt, and David Horn from Community Development, Kamara and Alicia, who also put in hard work on this plan as well, are no longer with us, but you're here in spirit.
Yeah.
Miriam.
Get on the side. I don't.
All right. Way to go, Lupe. Good job, man. Now you gotta shake everybody. This is a great award. Thank you very much. And we're just getting started on our downtown. As you could see by driving down High Street tonight on your way home. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Do that too. And then gas up on your way out. All right. Gotta be an ambassador. Okay, everybody, that was such a great award, and we're really proud of the great work that our city staff is doing and our residents. We're listening to our residents, and it's making a difference, and you can really see it. Consent calendar. All items listed under the consent category are considered routine. The complete consent calendar will be enacted by one motion by roll call vote. For purposes of discussion, any council member may have an item removed from the consent calendar and made part of the regular agenda. The council can then approve the remainder of the consent calendar. Does council have any items or an item that they would like removed tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to pull 2-2 and 2-3.
Okay. I'd like to pull item 2-4. So is there a motion to approve item 2-1?
Make a motion.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item
Councilmember Oseguera.
Yes.
Item 2-2, Councilman.
Okay. We almost forgot. No, the reason why I pulled this is regarding the animal services manager. I'm just the reason why I question this is, did we put out a bid on this, RSP on this particular item, on this category?
Good job posting.
Yeah. Did we put one out?
What this does is it changes, it moves the animal services from the police department over to community services.
So I know we're moving it over, but did we,
Well, after you have approved the job classification, we'll go out for recruitment for the position. And so it can't be recruited until you've agreed to the changes.
What would that timeline be for actually going out if it's approved tonight in 2 minutes?
Well, I had a discussion with Liz tonight. We'll be back in front of you on September 16th with the mid-manager increases that were agreed upon for the mid-manager, the CLOSIA unit. And so this is one of those positions in that unit. And so we're having a discussion about whether we should open it up later this week under that lower salary, or whether we would be in a better position to wait until it received its salary increase, because it will actually receive a salary increase from 2024 and 25. So it could be a substantial. I am in the process of working on those now.
Which could make the job a little more attractive to people looking at it,
Correct. Yeah. So
although weighed against the necessity for an additional person at the shelter. Wow.
yeah. So
Okay.
So Liz and I were having those conversations right before council meeting. And so, I probably tomorrow will finish up the salary on this one, and depending on how much of an increase, we'll be in a better position to see whether we're going to recruit it this week or we'll wait and open it after the next council meeting.
I mean, I
Okay,
think we
thank-
have to keep the, Councilman, I think we have to keep the shelter
Yeah,
closed
yeah.
on Monday
yeah.
because we don't have enough people.
Yeah, so that's why I question it, I just wanted to make sure the clarification when we do switch over to these things and make sure that's done correctly. And, if the people that are in charge are in the right position, I don't want to, how would I say it? Make sure the transition is smooth and make sure the work is done smoothly, who's ever in charge. Okay? And then
Great. You want to make a motion to approve item 2-2?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Item 2-3.
Oh, okay, 2-3. The reason why, another question, here we go again, is the salary, the salary, master salary classification. And it requires in our department, how would I say it? We had some problems in certain areas, so we had to make some adjustments. I know that in the finance director department. So I just want to make it clear that there were some issues that came about, and some of these situations to be corrected. Things have to be, how would I say, compensated for the hard work they have to do and to fix certain things. A person's not here, so
I
that.
read the description and it appears that
Yeah,
a duty has been added to the finance director's
Yeah.
position of payroll, another
So we switched-
responsibility for
yeah.
which she is responsible. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
And I know, things like that, when you have to do double duty, I understand. And that's why I pull this to let the citizens know out there that, some actions have to be taken and they're to be clarified. That way they say, hey, man, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? So we want to be transparent out there to the public. And when the situations like this, something has to be corrected. I'm a believer in fixing situations, but also people that do the hard work should be compensated for what they're, because a lot of things have to be fixed very hardly.
Councilmember Avalos, I will tell you that the finance director will appreciate the words of encouragement. It's been a cleanup effort for her. And so will appreciate that you said that.
There a motion to approve?
I'll
item
make a
two?
motion to approve, 223.
And I'll second that.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera.
Yes.
Okay, item 2.4 is the RMA changes. City Attorney, I know you've been working this very closely. I have a couple questions for you. First, who are the current officers of the PSJV RMA? And who are the executive committee members? And is that public record? Is that something we?
It is
a
public
list of?
record. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. My understanding is that last time I looked anyway, the persons on the board of directors are members, representatives of various cities that are members of the RMA.
Mhm.
The administrator is an insurance agency.
Sedgwick.
Sedgwick, yes.
Got it. And then just reading through this, how is the deposit premium figured for each city? Because ours seems to change every quarter. Is there a formula?
It's supposed to be based on your experience. Are you saying your self-insured retention has gone up or your premiums have gone up?
The deposit goes, it just changes. It's gone up definitely over time, but it changes. It's not like there's a premium amount at the beginning of the year and you just pay a quarter of that every quarter. It's different every quarter.
Mayor, if I may, I was a member of the RMA and sat on their executive committee for almost 15 years. So coming into June, the executive committee, which is comprised, so board members are, every city has 2 members. You have an alternate and the front. And so we have 2 members that sit on the board.
What are the titles? I don't need names, but what are the titles of our
The
city?
administrative services is your representative and your finance director is your alternate. And that's very common in the cities. And then on the executive board, those members are usually the board members. They're a select number representing the different districts. There's 4 different districts. And so they take so many board members and they go on the executive committee. They're the ones that do a lot of the review work, actually kind of run the association. They meet every single month, whereas the big board only meets quarterly. And so in June, though, a budget is adopted. I do have those rates. For the first quarter premium, we are required to pay a quarter of our workers' comp, our liability, but then we pay all of our premiums on our property, our entire vehicle program. There's a couple others. And so that's why you see such a big premium in the first deposit. In the second, third and fourth quarters, all we're paying are the deposits on workers' comp and liability. So I have that. I can share that with you, what our budget is. And so I was able to get those numbers for Selma so that I can give those to you. And so, but it is a set dollar amount for the entire year.
Great. And then is that reflective of our experience the last 3 years?
Yes,
The last year, it's a retrospective rating plan based on what we've actually had.
how much we hold. You build up a reserve account. So depending on when you have bad years, that you can choose for some of that money to come out of reserves. So there's some different significant areas that you can kind of try to keep your premiums level. And I haven't been able to really dig in to see how you guys are running your program. We actually kept money in reserves so that we kind of leveled ours out and would take it out of our reserves with RMA. So it's a little different, but you do have a set budget that is adopted in June. And so we know exactly how much to budget for that upcoming fiscal year.
Can you send us that?
I want to ask her a question.
I
You
can.
mentioned
Thank you.
about a budget for the RMA. Now, from your experience and what you've been seeing, are we staying within budget or have you noticed that we continue to go over budget?
We're within budget because we know what that number is. So very early June, we know they'll give you preliminary numbers in May because all the cities are working on budget. So they'll give you preliminary numbers, and then early June, you get your final numbers. And so there's a lot of data, analysis that goes into those numbers. I can put together a history for you based on what your experience is so that you can take a look at that. The city manager and I have had some discussion about the RMA. We would like to suggest that we possibly schedule a work session with the RMA. Jeanette Workman, who runs that program, is more than happy to come in and we could do a special council meeting with you. They can go over all of the programs that they offer. And you'd be able to ask all of those questions directly to them. Normally, when she comes in to do that type of presentation, she'll usually bring in a couple of people that represent, one in liability, one in workers' comp. So she'll bring a couple of people that can talk to you directly. But we'd like to see maybe a special session where we could do a work study session with you, maybe in October.
I also mentioned a couple meetings ago, not right now, but in the future, that we'd like to put this out to bid because it is a huge budget item for the city. And they could probably assist in what items we could request from them, such as, loss experience and policy deck pages and things like that, that a prospective broker or brokers would need to quote off of and give our city an indication. There are only a few. It's very specialized in terms of people who cover municipalities. So we might even want to look into a potential captive program. I know Calvans, I was on the board of Calvans, and their loss ratio is really low for auto. And they had Philadelphia, and they went and looked into, I believe I got off the board before that time, my term expired, but I think they moved over to a captive where they were paying about, I don't know, a tenth of what they were paying before because their losses were so very low. I think it's always good to look at your insurance program. That sounds like a really good idea. And look at our loss experience and see if we might not benefit from something like a captive program, which, a good broker could help us out with if there are efficiencies and savings to be had.
The issue with cities is very few. Usually you're in JPAs because of the risk, police, fire. They run some of the biggest comp injuries, et cetera. So there are very few direct brokers that will handle cities. And so you end up in some type of a JPA. There have only been 2 cities that have left the JPA. One is Hanford and the city of Lindsay. The city of Lindsay is the most recent. They went to another JPA. They've already petitioned to go back into the RMA. They're trending between 25 to 30% higher than what they were in the RMA. And they don't have IRMA coverage and a couple of other items. And so they're having to cover that out of their general fund.
Right. And one of the best things about shopping your insurance is you learn more about your program. And I think that's, our city, as you're hearing from the questions tonight, we'd like to know more about our coverage. And at the very least, it'd be a good exercise in gaining more knowledge and seeing where the insurance dollar is going of the taxpayers.
Completely agree. So yeah, if we can come up with a date in September, we would love to have a work session with you.
Look at that.
Just have one more question. This will be for the attorney. It mentions here that they did some cleanup in the verbiage in the agreement. Did you have a chance to look this over? Just to
I have.
compare?
I've
You know.
looked it over for other cities as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else with a question on this item?
No, you want me?
Anybody in the public with a question on the city insurance program? Anybody online or on the phone with a question about the RMA?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
With that, we'll bring the item back. Is there a motion to
I'll
approve
make a
this?
motion.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Avalos?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra?
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo?
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera?
Yes.
Mayor Robertson?
Yes. Moving on to departmental reports. City manager,
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
city attorney,
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
deputy city manager,
Nothing to report.
or city clerk.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Our finance manager,
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Fire Chief Webster.
Just going to provide a quick update on some of our resources that are out on assignment. Currently, we have 8 personnel assigned to incidents outside the city of Selma. Captain Peters is assigned as a safety officer on the Garnet incident, which is burning between Pine Flat and Wishon Reservoir. It's about 25,000 acres. Captain Rodriguez and engineers Karam and Clegio are assigned on our squad, which is our like big monster truck looking pickup. They're assigned to the High Sierra Lightning Complex, which is a series of fires that were started by the lightning storms, I think 2 Saturdays ago, maybe at this point. So they're committed there. And then Engineer Marsh is assigned as a line medic to that incident, as well as one of our ambulances with paramedics Sardisco and EMT Deanda. So quite a few folks assigned to the High Sierra Lightning Complex and the Garnet. And then Fire Marshal Rivas just left this evening and is headed up to a complex of fires up by Lake Shasta. So there's a handful of fires burning up there, also related to the just the lightning activity that's been going on. You made a comment that we were busy this last weekend. It's definitely the heat is having an impact, and we've just had kind of a series of interesting events. We had a vehicle fire, an electric vehicle fire that started while charging. The occupant was actually sitting in her car when it started. No injuries or anything like that. We were able to get that under control. Just one additional vehicle was damaged with that, and then also just a series of small fires and traffic accidents also has been coming uptick. So with that, just remind everybody to be safe out there, and it's definitely kind of at the height of fire season, and so we're busy, and I appreciate the support.
Thanks, Chief. Police Commander Cannon.
Report this evening, Mayor.
Do we have anybody from Public Works? Okay. Okay. Community Services.
That I wanted to report tonight is just a simple invitation to Pumpkin Palooza. So we are scheduled to have our fall festival October 4th from 1 to 4 out at Pioneer Village. So I hope to see you all there.
What about Pepe Marquez? Gosh.
Marquez will also be coming into town September 26th. And so that'll be down the street at Lincoln Park. And I encourage you all to come out and support that event as well.
Thank you.
And not to take the Public Works item, but we'll probably have trees and lights in by then. So looking forward to that
What about speakers?
eventually.
I heard we had allocated $69,000 for that. If there's money there, let's go shopping.
We do, but we also want to fix our art center too, remember? We got a carpet.
That's
We got things to fix. All right, back to departmental reports. That's it tonight. Thank you, everybody. We'll have a 5-minute break now. And encourage everybody to talk with the department heads here if you have city business. And then they can go home to their families. Thank you. That is so messed up. All right, we're back and we're going to move on to public hearings tonight. Our first item is item 4.1, consideration and recommendation to adopt resolution 2025-85R and 2025-86R approving Plan 2517 Selma North Annexation.
Good evening, council. Before you is a annexation and pre-zone application to annex approximately 150 acres north of Dinuba Avenue between approximately right to the west and Dockery or Mill Ditch to the east. The project applicant is present. He can give more detail about the proposal. From staff's point of view, the land is within the sphere of influence. And as part of the proposal, the applicant is proposing to pre-zone all the property consistent with the general plan, which allows it to be exempt under CEQA, which is why we have a general plan and we did an EIR for the general plan and why there's a specific exemption granted when you do projects that are consistent with the general plan. And so the proposal is to facilitate some future development in that area of town. Obviously, the extension of services will be an item to be discussed in the future that could be worked out with various service providers. Annexation does have some benefits, immediate benefits for the city. It allows us to fully control the intersection at Dinuba and McCall to help facilitate code enforcement of maybe street vendors out there, as well as right-of-way acquisition. We won't have to deal with the county upon completion of the annexation. So again, this project is exempt under CEQA. You have some properties that are included and expanded based on LAFCO's recommendation to have logical boundaries. So you don't have what are termed as islands. And so you do have a few property owners that are included in this annexation as well. So with that, the project applicant is here to answer additional questions as well as staff. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Come on up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Jeff Roberts. Mailing address is Post Office Box 483, Bryant, California 93626. For the record, I'll stand a little closer. It's all right. Okay, so Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm happy to be here tonight. We've been working with your staff for 6+ months to get here this evening. I really want to thank them publicly for their efforts and their assistance to have us here at both the Planning Commission last week and the council here this evening. For the record, I'd like to state a couple things. We're in full concurrence with the recommendation of staff here this evening. We're in full concurrence with the recommendation of your Planning Commission, which was unanimous last week, and their support for the project. We're in agreement with all 37 conditions of approval contained in the staff report here this evening that were also stated at the Planning Commission. And we would like to move forward with this pre-zoning and annexation process. Our request, as staff has stated and what's in the report, is to pre-zone all 20 of the parcels that we've been working on, consistent with the Selma general plan, with the land use designations that have been there for years. We're not proposing to change any of those. We are pre-zoning 100% consistent with that document. If your council approves our request here this evening, it will allow us to move forward into the LAFCO process, file the necessary applications with LAFCO, and eventually annex this property after their public hearing process. And I can go into that a little bit if you'd like. If not, I'm sure you're very familiar with LAFCO. I can talk about the 6 zone districts, but they're all contained in your staff report. And we are annexing, as I stated, 100% consistent with your plan. So our request this evening is fairly simple. Number one, we'd request that you council consider both the unanimous Planning Commission recommendation and the request of your staff here this evening and approve the following. Number one would be the notice of exemption that's contained in your staff report. Number two, ordinance number 2025-12, which is the ordinance bill that covers the 20 parcels that we've been discussing for the last 6 to 8 months. And number 3, approve resolution number 2025-85R. That covers the same geographic area that was considered by the Planning Commission last week. There are suggested findings that staff has asked that you look at. I think there's 9 of them, and they're contained on page 92 of your staff of your agenda packet here this evening. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. We're ready, willing, and anxious to move forward to the LAFCO process. And I want to thank your staff again for their help. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a question.
Sure. Any questions before we open it up? This is
Yeah,
the public hearing.
What company do you represent?
So I'm working on a team with Vice Engineering. Ken Vang is here in the audience with me this evening. And I'm actually a sub-consultant to Ken.
All right.
But I am a planning consultant. I'm self-employed and I'm working with Ken on this.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council before we open this matter up to the public? With that, we will open the staff.
Yeah, if I could add one other thing, at the planning commission meeting, and prior to that, staff did receive one letter from an adjacent property owner to be added to the annexation. That property owner is here as well, and I'm sure you'll hear from her during public comment. Planning commission accepted her request to be added to the annexation, which is why you have 2 resolutions and 2 ordinances to be considered tonight. You have the project applicant's resolution of application for annexation, as well as his pre-zone, and then for that adjacent property as well. That's approximately 20 acres that would actually make the city limits at McCall even on both sides of the street. So you wouldn't have half of the street in the city limits and the other half not. It would actually create a consistent city boundary on the north side of McCall.
So it goes east-west on McCall, over McCall, to the west of McCall. Actually jumps over McCall, and you're saying it provides some balance.
Correct. I mean, the properties are generally included north of Dinuba. I apologize. But on McCall Avenue, the property owner who asked to be included is on the west side of McCall. And so on the east and west sides of McCall, the city limits would be even at the top end on the north side of Dinuba along McCall.
And it would include that one house at the corner of McCall and Dinuba on the west side of
Southwest
Dinuba.
side.
Yeah. Right.
And all those homes along that south end.
And all those homes, including how many? How
I
many
think
of
it's
them?
about 4. It's about 4. I mean, it's a total of 6 homes, but it's 4 west of that corner house.
West of that corner house going there. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the clarification. All right, with that, we'll open the public hearing. And ask for any member of the public if anyone would like to address the council at this time.
Mr. Mayor and City Council members, my name is Allison Yang Bauer, and my property is located at 9791 South McCall. It's APN 358-120-35. I wrote a letter to the Selma City Council and also the City Planning Commission, and it is included in Exhibit H in your packet. So my letter is formally requesting the annexation of my property in addition to the Selma North annexation and pre-zone proposal. In the letter, I indicated 5 points that offered the benefits of annexation that would support the city and broader community. As shown by my map, our 20-acre property is highlighted in yellow. So you can see that it's surrounded on 3 sides by the Selma North annexation and the existing city limits. So it would just kind of even out the top right here. So we are right here, and that's 20 acres. So I respectfully, urge the Selma City Council to approve Exhibit B, which is the resolution number 2025-86R, and the ordinance, which is 2025-13.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. That was to include, because that was approved last week's planning commission meeting, correct?
Well, the request from Ms. Ying was to be included in the
Right.
proposal, and planning commission is recommending to the city council that she be included.
Okay, thank you.
If we approve this tonight, all of this would go to LAPCO, is that correct? Okay. Any other pro or con viewpoints tonight on this project?
Good evening. My name is Gladys Griffith. I reside at 9885 East Dinuba Avenue. And I received a letter from the Planning Commission giving notice of a public hearing scheduled for August the 11th to consider annexation and pre-zone. This letter states, and I quote, "It includes 20 properties. These properties are located north of Dinuba Avenue, west of South Delray Avenue, and east of South Thompson Avenue." I was not pleased about this since I oppose taking good fertile farmland to turn it into urban sprawl. But at least I was misled to believe that it did not include my property. We received another letter changing the date of public hearing to August the 25th. It contained that same exact information, confirming that 20 properties located north of Dinuba Avenue were proposed for annexation. I and my neighbors decided we better do some investigating. A map or diagram of the proposed annexation was obtained at City Hall, and to our dismay, it showed our properties located south of Dinuba Avenue were included in the proposed annexation. That means that 2 letters were sent out to the public with false and misleading information. The statements these properties are located north of Dinuba Avenue is a false statement. Also, the notice states that 20 properties are listed, but only 16 APNs. Numbers are given. And when I did a little more research, it's actually is 19 APNs. So I wonder what numbers were left out and why. We received a 3rd letter giving notice of this city council meeting to conduct a public hearing on September the 2nd. And that letter contained that same false, misleading information. In addition, at the Planning Commission meeting, we learned that there would be fees charged to the properties that contained residences on them. When we asked what those fees were, the answer given was some percent of the property's valuation. That can amount to thousands of dollars. That would definitely affect us senior citizens living on fixed income. Also at the meeting, a lady, and you met her here tonight, asked that her property be included in the annexation. If this change is granted to the proposal, then surely we could change the annexation properties and exclude those properties located south of Dinuba Avenue. And as I looked at it more carefully, there are actually 6 out of the 19 properties, APN numbers listed, that are south of Dinuba. That's a 1/3 of the APNs listed south of Dinuba. Finally, I obviously object to the annexation. And I object to the pre-zoning for medium and high density since all the property around it
Thank you
is
for your
single
commentary.
family.
Appreciate your time is up tonight.
Okay,
Thank you, though.
thank you.
Anybody else with a comment?
Good evening. Jacqueline Harper. I am a next door neighbor. I am the first house that is facing Dinuba Avenue. And from what I heard last week, I am very nervous about it. If that property were to be allowed to put in a business, I would be very uncomfortable, as well as I just really don't want to be in the city limits. She's more verbose than I am, but I don't think that it is necessary for us to be put into the city limits and have expenses that we as seniors have worked for our whole lives. And we already have our water system and all of that is necessary to maintain a large home. Thank you.
For your comment. Anybody else with a comment at this time?
Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Mandeep Singh, resident of 10013 South McCall Avenue. I have few concerns and a few questions. First of all, I was not informed about the annexation. And matter of fact, yesterday night, my neighbor, Jacqueline Harper, she came to my home and she knocked my door. She informed me annexation is going on. So I heard we talked about 40 minutes and even today we heard their concerns. They're legitimate, they worked there all life. It was their dream home. So annexation is going on, but they are scared it should not be a further burden on them, what they can't, take care of. So that was the concern. I want to ask city council and city manager, if annexation goes further, will existing resident will be charged extra, extra taxes or hooking up sewer, water, or we can utilize our existing amenities? Okay, can anyone please answer?
Deputy City Manager, what is the plan for the use of utilities after annexation?
I think as we've discussed, or maybe I'm just getting the planning commission meeting confused in my mind. When property annexes to the city, we have what's referred to as non-conforming uses, which is pretty typical when you go from a county designation to a city designation. In addition, we don't immediately require homes to connect to city services if they have existing services. If and when their services no longer operate and they need to upgrade those, they would be then required to connect to services that are within the area if they are in the area. So if they have an existing well and septic tank, annexation doesn't change that they could still use it. They could still utilize their existing services. Nothing will change. With regard to additional services and taxes, your tax rate doesn't change whether you're in the city or not. You're still charged a 1% property tax base rate, no matter what.
Yep.
And so the common misnomer is annexation to the city increases your taxes, which it does not. It changes maybe what you pay for services, which is a separate charge. In addition, the solid waste provider is going to stay the same, regardless of whether you're in the city limits or not in that area. So with regards to the residents' concerns, we appreciate their concerns. And part of the reason we send out notices is so that they come here and address those with the council and staff in a public forum. We make sure that everybody understands what annexation means. What annexation means is the city's the most logical service provider in the area to implement the general plan. The general plan in that area has been the same for 16 years. And so it had always envisioned what is being proposed. It's just a matter of when was that going to happen. And so unfortunately, there's provisions in state law that also require us to not exclude certain properties. If we were to propose this annexation and we excluded adjacent properties and created an irregular boundary, it would essentially be a donut hole amongst services that we would then have to do a service contract with the county. We would still end up providing the services anyway, more than likely. You don't, I mean, the example of an island is Fig Garden, right? In the city of Fresno. I think there's an agreement between the city and county. The city still provides those services by contract within the island area. We don't necessarily exclude 6 properties in the middle of the city limits because it creates an inefficient method of service delivery. And so LAFCO, we could make that recommendation and LAFCO would take one look at it and probably still roll them in. And actually, it was LAFCO's recommendation to include these properties as part of the overall proposal. So from where we sit, we don't feel that the property owners will see like an immediate change in services or a cost associated with services because they will not be required to change their current utility services as they have them.
So if they're on septic, they stay on septic
Up until it goes down.
until they have to change it over.
If let's say we had this discussion with Mr. Singh, and it was part of the discussion during planning commission. His property has a home, and in the county, he's the ag limited zone district, which allows single family residences. In the general plan, he's actually commercial office, and he would go to the C1 zone district. In the C1 zone district, a single family home is not allowed in the C1 zone district. So if his home were to burn, he would not be able to reconstruct it in that location. He could do other things. He could do multifamily like a triplex or something like that, just not single family. In addition, if he was on well and septic, he may not be able to continue to use those if there's services in the area that he would need to connect to.
And these folks with their homes, well, we're in public. We're open to the public. I'll ask my questions when we come back.
Okay.
Sir, did you have any questions?
Thank you very much. All my concerns have been answered. I have a second question. Across my property, there are food trailers. I believe like everybody has right to earn a hard, honest earning. They are parking there, but that's the dangerous. But concern comes when they start burning charcoal, petrol, gasoline, all this stuff. And you bet, nobody can stand over there. It's so bad fumes, and nobody cares. How sooner can we stop that?
Once the property is
Annexation
annexed to the
occurs.
city, food trucks and other items like that would be subject to code enforcement by the city and city PD. And so we've made calls to the county about those food trucks, I think out at that location, being out in the right of way and creating hazards, people pulling off. And so the city would have immediate code enforcement abilities out in that area to regulate appropriately.
So the city could enforce it.
So
Ex-planning commissioner
if
saying.
you can do swiftly, that will be appreciated, because people are not only pulling their vehicles over there, they are dumping their trash too. So even Mr. Jim Avlos, he stopped by, and I was, picking trash. So I have to do many jobs. And sometimes my neighbor, she's also trying to, make our outdoor clean. So if you can help us with that, like any board, something, if can be, if that can be installed over there. No illegal parking, no, food trucks, no burning of charcoal. That will be really appreciated.
As the deputy city manager said, I believe once it's annexed, it'll be subject to Selma PD patrol as opposed to sheriffs. It will be under the city responsibility as opposed to the county.
And
So till that, we have to endure those things.
no, we can reach out to the county as well. We can call county planning and the public works director.
We had an issue, where there were so many people coming out, they were crossing the road there. And I know I reached out to our supervisor, and it changed pretty drastically after that, but then they come back, they gradually come back. So it's just, you have to keep at it.
No
to fix the
problem.
definitely.
And
Thank you for letting us know about that.
really appreciate. And I believe in development, but I was concerned for my neighbors too, So it was a very short time. Whatever is my observation, I feel like city is going in good direction, but also like they are safe too. But in future, if they get with this development any issues, I will be the first one to represent them here. But right now, I support your development. I say yes, that's a good thing. If you are cleaning, the neighborhood, making it safer for everyone, and really appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate.
Teresa Salas, can you tell me what the timeline is for the annexation once this passes tonight? What I had brought up at the planning commission meeting was that if something should happen to that property, once it's annexed into the city, a car goes out of control and knocks the house down, that property owner cannot put the house back again because of the change in the zoning. So if Mr. Singh's property was destroyed, he can't put his residential home back on there once the annexation is completed. If he wanted to put something else on his property now, like an ADU or another home or something, can he do that now prior to the annexation? Or is this a done deal? Once this thing is passed, everything goes into the hands of the city? Again, what Deputy City Manager said, that yes, once it is annexed, then there's no putting the house back. If something burned down or whatever, they can't put the house back up because of the zoning. He did mention like a triplex, because of what it's zoned, that would be the smallest thing that they could put on the property as a triplex. So that's what my question is, how soon does the annexation take place? And is there still a window to be able to do something to his property prior to the annexation?
Got it. Deputy City Manager, what's the timeline if the council approves this tonight to go to LAFCO and get approved?
Typically, LAFCO will consider it somewhere between 80 and 120 days. And then completion of conditions include, making sure you have completed legal descriptions approved by LAFCO, payment of any outstanding fees to LAFCO. I believe that there's a state or a certificate of completion that's then recorded that formally moves the property from the county to the city. Once that occurs, that's the effective date of the annexation. And so that usually takes anywhere, apart from the 120 days, another 60 to 90 days to complete that information. And so it could be 6 months before it's in the city. But after that point, I mean, he could apply for an ADU with the county now. But once it's in the city, we would, if it was approved and it was under construction, we would recognize it and then it would stay. But I mean, it just depends on their timing as well.
A bit of a race probably to get it done, to get it entitled
If
and
you
approved.
wanted to put something else prior to the change in the zoning.
Right. That's what I'm hearing. And the LAFCO's a public hearing as well. So anybody who has objections, you can go to LAFCO. It's where the Board of Supervisors meet, public meeting.
One
And
of
you
the
can
things
announce
that
your
Mr.
concerns.
Singh shared with me is that he had not received any type of notification, not from the city or from the county, about the annexation. And so hopefully if something goes to LAFCO, that he will be notified of that information, or when the hearings would be with LAFCO.
It's a public hearing, so anybody within a certain radius is going to get notification of that, Deputy City Manager. And what happened with that previous notification? Did it go out and just didn't make it, or what happened?
I mean, it could be a variety of different things. We are relying on the most updated assessment information that's available from the county, and they are not always up to date with updating property owners. And so the information that we get from the county, we use for public noticing. I believe Mr. Singh moved to that property last year. And so depending on when the assessment information was updated, it may have been an outdated, but
What's the county's responsibility to notify folks who
Well,
live in the county?
No, we do the public notification in our office for public hearing. We get the information on property owners on the most updated assessment information from the county that we use for our noticing. LAFCO will use the same information. We will forward to them our concerns and make sure that they have an appropriate property list to send to the property owners, and we'll update the ownership information accordingly. I will state that the reason we send out public notices to the surrounding property owners of the most updated information is because ownership changes so often. However, it was effective. Mr. Singh is here to provide his comments, and so the public noticing process worked to get him here to provide comment.
Also, Mr. Singh is a former planning commissioner who is pretty adept at this and he knows what he's doing. So that's always good. And it sounds like he has coached and worked with his neighbors as well, which is another good thing. In our town, it's good that we all stick together and talk to each other.
I have a quick question for the deputy.
Can we just close the
Well,
public?
he called, Mr. Singh called me today because his neighbor contacted him yesterday about the annexation. Previous to last night, he did not know anything about it. He spoke to me today and I told him that it was on tonight's agenda and for him to come to the meeting tonight, because he said prior to yesterday, he was not aware of the annexation process at all.
Got that.
Can I?
Let's just close the public hearing. Anybody with any other input tonight? Anybody on the phone or online with a comment for or against Thank you. With that, we're going to close the public hearing and bring the matter back to council. Councilman Avalos?
Yeah, in the past, you know, when we had annexation situations on property owners, we identified the areas and we sent them a certified letter. And if they have changed, how would I say, changed ownerships, we identified the property, and if they have a house on that property, we went and hand delivered it. You know, we actually hand delivered it back then. We made it, you know, that way they were notified and not wait, you know, like things like Mr. Singh, that would have happened, unfortunately, and it did. And other people and his situation as well. So that's what we did. I think, you know, it's a lesson to be learned today, is to improve our system, make it more efficient, you know. You know, if we know that individual there, you know him by name already, we should already gave him a letter. But I guess we didn't. But those things happen.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Okay, I just want to confirm, I'm just a little bit disturbed in the comments that Mr. Singh's neighbors, young lady, nice ladies here, that came in and mentioned that they were not notified. And that's disturbing because they have lived there for many, many years. And not to be notified or misinformed by the county or by the city is a little disturbing. I agree. I think that notices, and we're talking about 20 parcels, those individuals should have been notified certified mail. And that way that everybody receives the information, because it's not fair, especially for people that have worked so hard for what they have, and then to feel that something like this can take them out. It's just not fair. So I get it. I get we have to annex properties but not to be notified or be aware. It doesn't sit right with me. Okay, so I'm just not comfortable. I'd like to see what we can do for these individuals that were misinformed.
If I may, Mayor Pro Tem, from what I heard, it sounded like they did receive the notice, and they were, in our notices, we have a phone number to call staff so they can reach out to staff prior to the meeting to get information about the item. We sent out a notice in mid-August. We sent out a revised notice for the regular meeting, and then there was a notice sent out for this meeting. So there were 3 notices sent out, which she stated that she received all of them, which has our contact information on there. So she could reach out to staff to ask those questions. Again, the law affords the city to use the most updated assessment roll for ownership. If the county doesn't update the ownership, such as in Mr. Singh's case, that's the information that we have. That's the most updated information that we have. Otherwise, we'd be updating ownership every day because property changes hand every day throughout the county. That being said, the proposed annexation boundaries are dictated by LAFCO. Mr. Roberts can get up and describe the process, but I would imagine he took his properties, which is not all 20 properties, and he went to LAFCO, and LAFCO said, include these additional properties because state law requires us to consider those as well as part of your annexation proposal, because an annexation proposal cannot create an island, which is what all those properties on the south side of Dinuba would create. And so it's not a matter of us including them. It's not a matter of the applicant including them. It's a matter of LAFCO and state law requiring that they be included in that annexation.
So did you get that in writing? Do you have that in writing?
I can.
Okay.
I also was an assistant and executive officer for LAFCO at Madera County, and is part of state law.
Great.
The city attorney can talk about that as well.
And no, I don't think we're getting that deeply into the process here. I think we all understand. Everybody did their due diligence. It's just this is we're not kind of jumping into is the property taxes. There will be additional costs. We have more measures here than they do in the county, right? They will go on the property taxes of the city. We have school board, we have school measures for the new stadium. We have property taxes. We have costs that they'll incur as members of the city.
And
let me finish. At the same time, they will also enjoy city services and not have to put up with the trucks, the truck traffic situation, the trash collection could improve. Going on SKF could improve. There are trade-offs to this. I fully understand that. But the city does need to grow. The city's growing. And, you know, I think the city could do a little bit better job of reaching out, maybe. I think the city did do its due diligence. I really do. I just think, you know, we got a public information officer coming on. It's all about communications. I'm hoping we can do a little bit better job of communications. Not to switch the subject, but downtown, when they're putting the trees in today, we had some business owners come and say, I didn't even know they're putting trees in. I didn't know they were closing the street. I think that happened because the delivery date changed and things happen. Life happens. That doesn't excuse it, but that's just what happened, you know? So I think the city could do a better job the next time. It looks like this is a project that that will go through LAFCO, but they will listen to you if you go object. It is an open hearing process. But there are pluses and minuses to this. It just has, we have to see that. And I think the city, I don't know if you could go door to door or put something on the door, like we do with citations, but maybe we could go that extra mile in the future, especially if it's 20 people. You know, if it's a small number, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I leave it to the professionals to come up with a better way so that we don't have these awesome people, you know, coming to our city council meetings saying that they're not really happy with the process. We would like everybody to be happy with the process.
No, and I don't disagree with any of the council members. Again, we're talking about 20 properties, but we're talking about noticing every property within 300 feet of the entire annexation. So you're talking about over 200 notices went out to property owners, and hand delivering 200 notices in an area requires staff time, resources, and other things like that. That's why we mail them, and we can certify mail them if that's what council wishes us to do to confirm who received and didn't receive them. We don't have an issue with that. It's just an added cost to do that, right? And so we can add that as part of our process if that's what council wants us to do. The thing I will say, in terms of property tax, if they're in the school district rates don't change. The district doesn't change. They're still in the Selma Unified School District. So that if they were paying a school bond, they're still paying the school bond. So that doesn't change. The thing that will change is if they become part of SKF and they receive service, that will then go on their tax bill because they don't bill monthly. If they're not receiving SKF services, it will not be on the tax bill. If they're receiving Mid-Valley disposal now, then it will also be on their tax bill when they come into the city. So those would be the variable items, but those are termed assessment, not property tax, right? And so at the end of the day, most of our
The
measures,
assessments would increase, right?
I mean, there's no other assessments. They're not in an LLMD. They're not in a CFD. The only assessments that we're talking about property tax or bond measures would be the school district that I'm aware of out in that area. So if they're in the school district, they're already paying that anyway. Again, it would be any assessments that they would have to agree to pay at a time in the future.
You're making my point. There are additional costs that will be incurred. And I think what we're hearing is they just didn't have enough time to review and study those costs well enough. And so I know for future agenda items, I'm hoping that one of the council members will say, let's put this on as a future agenda items to start sending these out certified mail. I agree,
mean,
you can't go to 300 homes
doesn't
and knock
need
on
to
the
be-
door and put in
It doesn't
thumbtack.
need to be an additional agenda item. If you guys want to do it as, I've taken the direction, if that's what council wants is more notice, we'll do more notice. I don't think that's.
Are we good with that? Council good with more notice? Like sending these out certified so they make sure that they receive them?
What you're
We should do it certified.
You're gonna send certified to the properties,
That the county
the
tells.
parcels that are
us that-
being affected by
So
it.
the only way you're gonna get them is door to door.
Well, no, you have, if you don't get it.
Or advertising on that billboard in the front, having a PIO that gets a list of annexations and says, I'm gonna publicize this throughout the city and on the city website so that diligent folks, and those two women right there are very diligent. They keep up on city issues. They could even go on the city website and say, what do we have for annexations this week? Or some people could do that. You know, just make it a little more well-rounded in terms of how the city communicates. At least make communications something that we do a better job on. Anything
on
else?
Another note, Jerome brought it up, the services, if they have your water system already in play, your wells and everything, there'll be no changes unless you decide to switch over, like Jerome says. And also as far as the sewer down the road, if you wish to hook it up, apparently you guys have septic tanks. I'm assuming this logically, because in the county, so soon as down the road, you decide to switch over, there'll be some incur costs there, but by then, that'll be upon you. And you can live your life like you're living now, normally, every day. There'll be no changes in your operations in your life, except maybe for the police protection, that'll change. And as far as the services, with the trash company and all that will.
The new zone will be what? Well, what will the new zone be?
I mean, I think it'll be R17.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if folks living in a single family home right now, if that home does burn down or whatever happens, is damaged or destroyed, and it has to be rebuilt, it couldn't be rebuilt as a single home. Is that correct? It would have to be rebuilt as, did someone say, a triplex or larger?
That's only for the commercial property on the corner. The two properties on the commercial corner, Mr. Singh's property and the property to the south, are both designated as commercial. The balance to the west, the other 4 parcels, are all residentially planned and will be residentially zoned. So if their homes burned, they would be able to rebuild their homes.
Yep.
They can rebuild single family homes. Okay.
But they'd have to connect to the sewer and water if they did that.
Yeah, at that
Right,
time.
at that time.
And I think the one fees that the young lady was speaking about are fees that we're required to pay to the Fresno County Fire Protection District for taking away their territory. Am I right about that?
That fee, I think, will be, as the staff report states, those fees for the annexation, because it's part of the annexation proposal, will be paid by the applicant.
Also, is there a sales tax split arrangement between the county and the city for the commercial properties? And if so, what is that split?
I don't believe there's a sales
Tax
tax
sharing
split. I
agreement.
think the tax sharing agreement covers property tax. So there's a property tax sharing agreement, which is part of the MO between the city and county.
But that doesn't affect them, it affects the city.
Yeah, the property tax that was collected in the city limits, there's a split that's been identified between the county and city.
It applies to sales tax too, though.
And sales tax. Got it. And how long does that tax sharing agreement in effect?
They're typically 20 or 30 years.
Pretty long time.
I don't think ours is that long. I think ours is maybe like 10 years. We just renewed it, I want to say last year with the county.
It's like 2/3, 1/3 or something like that.
So, yeah, I think it's with most of the cities in Fresno County, I think it's like 38/60. 38 to the cities and 62 to the county.
Right. Any other items? Any other questions from council? Okay, is this a 2-item agenda item tonight, or can it be voted on as 1 item?
I would prefer that you vote on it as 2 items because you're taking this up to LAFCO and I'm one.
The 1 item is the original annexation, and the other item is Ms. Yin's property that she would like annexed as well.
Correct.
So we'll take the original annexation first. Is there a motion to approve that annexation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
No.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Okay, with that, we'll move on to our next item to include in the annexation Ms. Yin's property. Is there a motion to approve the additional annexation tonight?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos.
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Moving on to our next item on public hearings tonight, it's item 4.2. It's a public hearing, second reading and adoption of ordinance 2025-11, adding section 6940 to Title 6, Chapter 2 of the Selma Municipal Code, prohibiting and proscribing criminal punishment for leaving or abandoning any animals within the Selma city limits. Report, please.
Mayor, members of the council, this adds a section to that chapter of your municipal code that deals with animal control. And specifically, it adds section 40 to title or chapter 9 of Title 6. And it prohibits the leaving or abandoning of any animal within the city that is accessible to the public. We're essentially working off an interpretation of Penal Code Section 597, which prohibits cruelty to animals. And we're saying that the section is properly interpreted to mean, among other things, that leaving or abandoning an animal within a public place necessarily deprives that animal of food, water, shelter, the things it needs to survive. And it qualifies under the terms of Section 597 as cruelty to animals. And so we are prescribing a misdemeanor penalty for that violation. The misdemeanor penalty requires us to file a misdemeanor complaint with the court, which I would file on behalf of the city in response to someone being arrested for or ticketed for that violation. The potential penalty on conviction of that for that misdemeanor, $5,000 and or 6 months in jail. The arresting officer or the citing official has discretion to treat it as a infraction. And in that event, the potential fine or penalty is $1,000. This is all about deterrence. We talked previously when we did the introduction and first reading of this proposed ordinance about the fact that our police cannot arrest you for any kind of misdemeanor unless it's committed in their presence. So we're relying in part on responsible citizens who see the actual violation occur to make citizens arrest and turn those people over to our police. But unless we actually see it happen, or we have a citizen see it happen that's willing to make the citizen's arrest, you're not going to be able to prosecute it as a misdemeanor. You would be able to ticket it as a infraction. So this is really about deterrence, and it's basically telling people that if we catch you doing this, or if one of our citizens who's responsible enough to report it sees you doing this, you're in a world of trouble. You're potentially going to jail. And so we're just hoping that people get the message that we're not going to tolerate the abandonment of dogs or cats or any kind of animal in any public place within the city of Selma. And that if they do it, they're going to suffer the consequences. So that is the sum and substance of the ordinance. It's on tonight for public hearing and adoption.
Great. Thank you, City Attorney. Before we open this up to the public for public comment, I'll ask council if they have any comments or questions.
I have a comment. This has been a long time coming because, it happens all the time. And I don't know if you guys saw, there was somebody took a picture of somebody dumping a cat in one of the gas stations. So they got the license plate and everything. So they submitted the video. It's all over social media. That's the second one that's been submitted. So hopefully we can start, if we have the information, maybe we need to start sending them a ticket or something, because they can get their address and everything through their license plate, you know. Thank you for all the work. I know I've been bugging you for I don't know how long already, so thank you so much.
Thank you to Councilman Osigara for sticking at this, keeping to it. Really appreciate it. This is a very worthwhile ordinance. I think we should also have an anti-breeding ordinance that we should bring up and have the city look into that as well.
I should have mentioned this during my report and I forgot. There is a division of the Department of Consumer Affairs that has a litany of regulations that relate specifically to the breeding of animals, dogs primarily. And they require me to send my ordinance to them for review and approval before I bring it to you. So that ordinance is done. It just got shipped off to the Department of Consumer Affairs so they can go through it and make sure I'm not running afoul of any of their regulations.
So that'll be coming back
That'll be coming
to
back.
the city. Okay, very good. Thank you. With that, we'll open the public hearing to the public. Does anyone have any opinions, pro or con, on this particular topic tonight? If so, please come forward.
Stella Ramirez, Selma, California. I have a question. So if someone moves out of their home and leaves a dog or a cat there, nothing can be done about that?
At a home?
At a home, like someone moves.
Has to be in a place accessible to the public. Your home is not accessible to the public.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Boy, I would think that that's a great question. That that subjects the animal to deprivation, no food, no water. To me, that falls under the heading of cruelty and could at least be referred to the whatever deputy DA handles the animal cruelty cases.
Well, I mean, if it's left in your front yard, for example, that's accessible to the public, right? Unless you've got a fence around your front yard and it's visible publicly, so that would qualify. If you leave it in somebody's backyard, that would be different. We don't have the ability to monitor what's going on in that backyard. That's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. So we can't really rely on that activity to criminally prosecute anybody.
Remember, we got two dogs. Some people called us, said there were a couple big German shepherds that were, this was like right after the stock market collapse, in 2008, people were leaving their homes and they said a couple of big German shepherds were out. Can you guys go get them? And of course, Rose and I, all 5'7" and 5 feet of us said, oh yeah, we'll go out and get them right now. We're fully expecting big German shepherds. And they were two of the smallest, cutest Shih Tzus you've ever seen. And we have one of them to this day. The other one passed away 2 years ago. But they just left him. They just left him in the front yard without a care. And maybe they had desperate conditions, but why didn't you call somebody? Call somebody or leave a sign. Pick these dogs up. I got to go. Tell the neighbor. It was the neighbor that called this in.
Yeah, that's a tough situation.
It's a tough situation, but I think it does fall under this ordinance
that would fall
potentially.
Because what you're doing is you're leaving your house and you're leaving the dog to roam.
But they're gone. How do you find them? Like if they're renting the house and they're gone, how do you locate these people that are doing these things?
Well, that's the big problem about any misdemeanor, because you got to see it. Somebody's got to see it happen. It's got to happen in your presence. I mean, you can theoretically not actually see it, and it can still be in your presence. As long as it's in your presence, that's fine. But in order for you to prosecute somebody criminally or anything, got to happen in your presence unless it's a felony.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Anybody else with any input on this? Anybody online or on the phone with input on this ordinance?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
With that, we will bring the matter back to council, close the public hearing, and refer the matter for more discussion. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to say before we move forward? Is there a motion to approve this item
So
tonight?
moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Moving on to our last item of business tonight. It's a new business item and it's an action item. Consideration and necessary action on Resolution 2025-77R, approving and authorizing execution and communications director, public information officer, employment agreement. City Attorney.
Mayor, members of council, you previously appointed Jose Moreno as Communications Director, Public Information Officer. This is a position that the council appoints specifically. We have a contract prepared for this new appointee. The contract makes him a regular employee of the city, subject to the city's personnel rules and regulations. In addition to being subject to the supervision and control of the council, when the council is in session, this person is also subject to the supervision and control of your city manager, although any adverse employment decision or action needs to go through the council and be approved by a majority of the council. You are a probationary employee in our city for the first full year of your employment, which means you can be terminated without cause. So for that 1 year period, there is a provision in the contract that allows for the payment of 3 months severance in the event Mr. Moreno were terminated without cause. That provision disappears once he satisfies the 1 year probation, and he simply becomes a regular employee who, of course, cannot be terminated without cause. And that decision must ultimately go through this city council. But that is the sum and substance of that particular contract. I understand Mr. Moreno is going to start his employment on September 8th. And so it would be appropriate for the council to approve in advance the contract we're asking him to sign.
I understand that too, and I also understand Mr. Jose Moreno will be at our next council meeting to get a proper introduction. So looking forward to that. Does council have any questions or issues on this contract before we open it up to the public? I have one issue. Jose was the bid member, Business Improvement District member, for many months and did an absolutely spectacular job along with my spouse, Rose Robertson. I'm a little biased there, but objectively, they've done a great job along with the other bid members, really selfless volunteer work. Mr. Moreno will be city staff now. And since he is subject to council direction, I think it would be the best thing if he were assigned to the Business Improvement District as the facilitator for that meeting, for those monthly
As long
meetings.
as he doesn't have a vote, he can do that.
He would be on the staff side.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
that-
he's just, as an employee, he can't simultaneously be a member of the board of directors or whatever it is of the bid.
Got it. But he could be the facilitator of that meeting.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Opening the matter up to the public. Does anybody have anything they would like to say at this time?
Teresa Salas. In reading the contract, his starting salary is $97,740.75 a year annually. That comes out to $47 an hour. In addition to that, the city is also paying him $5,000 a year to be paid per pay period. that's going to be deposited into his 457. In addition to the city benefits that he will be receiving as a PERS member and for health insurance benefits. So he's getting all that, plus new employees, when they start for their first through fourth year of employment, they accrue sick leave and vacation time of 1 day per month. So 12 days a year for their first through fourth year. You are starting this employee out at the 5th year level. So he will be entitled to 18 days of vacation time, a day and a half per month, starting of his vacation accrual. Plus, you're giving him, in addition to additional vacation time, you are also giving him 12 days of admin leave, which is separate from vacation and separate from sick leave. That's just time that he can take off at his disposal. And the wording in the contract says, and any other leave approved by the city manager. So it could be any number as far as leave is concerned. He's getting sick leave, he's getting additional vacation time, he's getting 12 days admin leave, and any other leave that may be approved by the city manager. He is also getting a car allowance of $416 a month, plus a cell phone that's provided by the city. You did mention his severance pay. Severance pay for 3 months would be $24,000, $24,435 is what you're going to pay him, $24,000 if you decide to let him go. There is no city manager, none of the department heads that I'm aware of that get severance, that kind of severance anyway. From looking at the current salaries that you're paying the other people in the city, he's making more money. That's including the $5,000 that you're giving him annually. So his total annual salary would be $107,470 annually. That's more than the finance manager. That's more than the.
Thank you for your comment. City manager, step 7, step 5. Did the public information officer start out at the very last step? I don't either. And if you go back to our master salary schedule, there are lots and lots of employees who make more than that. And if you go on our website and you look, I'm speaking, and if you go on our website and you see the communications, the issues that we've had, it's very valuable to a city to have communications and to have someone who knows what they're doing with promoting our city. Because as the deputy city manager who's smiling there over there said at a couple meetings ago, we don't have an economic development director right now. We will in the future, but a good comms director and a good public information officer will help our city move forward at this stage. We have the economic development taken care of by different positions at this point. And one of those is going to be the public information officer, communications director. I'm, I guess, amazed to hear someone come up and condemn someone so roundly before they've worked 1 minute. If you would go, which I have never seen you attend, a business improvement district meeting, you would see that this person's impressive, selfless, and is a Selma resident and is someone who's given a lot to our city. So let's balance that view. And in my opinion, let's bracket all the negativity until we see what this person can do for our city. Then I'm speaking. So what I'm saying is this person deserves a chance, and that's what we're giving him. No guarantees here. We're gonna do
Mr.
the
Mayor,
best we can.
he's starting out at step B.
Step
B as
B.
in boy.
B as in boy, that would be the second step. Is that
Correct.
correct? Thank you. Any other public comment at this time?
1057 Mill Street. it just blows my mind that somebody would actually come up here and read something on the record just to be negative. One thing I would like to say though, for Jose Moreno, from when we've known him back in the day and when we met him back in the day, Jose Moreno was already in, at the time he was working for Fox News with Liz Gonzalez behind the scenes. And I didn't really know him back then, but he was always involved with the nonprofit organizations here and helping out with his videos, with his flyers, with anybody who really needed help. He did a phenomenal job with never charging anybody. So as far as I'm concerned and where he's come today, we are bringing in a professional. For once, we are bringing in a professional to do public information for our city of Selma. We are going to have phenomenal information back to our citizens. One thing we always get is, I didn't hear about this. I didn't know about that. When's the next event? Guess what? They're going to know now. He's going to do a phenomenal job. And I thank you guys for hiring someone like him before he's constantly getting picked up all over the place. So Selma's already on the map for what new council is doing. So thank you guys for that. And thank you for bringing him aboard, because guess what? It's going to be even more information and more good, positive things coming to Selma, and people and the citizens will see that. Thank you.
Anybody else with a comment? Anybody online or on the phone with a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
Bringing the matter back to council. Councilmember Avalos, do you have a comment at this time?
Yeah, I'll be honest, you guys, when we went to Vegas, the team here, and Jerome was there as well. You didn't get a chance to, but I got to meet with people that communications, from down south, and they use them very wisely. Communication, they're communication guys. They were there at the conference. I was talking to one of them. They market the city. They market their city very well. They have, and it's a different tool. And, you step into 25 cents, step into the future, you have to be innovative. And you got to tell yourself, okay, how are you going to market your city? City council can't be everywhere, but you got to have somebody that has a tool that market. These marketing guys, that's what they do. They advertise, and and he's got a track record. I look at him on Facebook. He's on Facebook. If you look at him, he has an event. He did the event here in the wintertime, the Day of the Dead. He was part of that. He marketed it, and this gentleman is not, he's not a rookie. It's obvious, he's not a rookie. And he lives in our community. And, sometimes opportunities, you need to put people in, give them a chance. And you have to give them the chance to produce. And I'm confident of this gentleman because I see his track record. I see what he does. People look at Avalos, oh, he's an old man, but no, I'm up to speed, man. Believe it or not, I'm up to the time. I watch people. If anybody out there knows who I am, I watch their work. I watch what they do. I go out and watch everybody, what they do. As an elected official up here, I'm responsible for the taxpayers' dollars. And the only way I can be responsible for the taxpayer dollars, I got to create a balance, a check balance on everybody. And I watch people's work and the behind the scenes. You don't know I'm watching you, but I am. I'm there. If I don't find out, I'll find out. Okay. So that's who I am. And I believe to give this gentleman a chance. I'm very confident. I've seen his work, and he can move the Selma, forward very wisely and market our city. No one else is doing it. in the small communities. We gotta be first innovation. You know, that's why we'll hire grant writers and out there in our audience, you know, I'm sure she's got some good news to tell us, you know, but we have to step up to the game. If we don't, you know, our city will die. And I don't like our city to die. I've seen it grow as a kid. I was born in this community, you know, and I've seen the town grow from where it's at now. And I want to see it continue to grow. And the only way you can do it, you have to market it, who you are. You're the best of the best, and you bring in the best of the best. Thank you.
I just want to say, he's going to bring a different dynamic. What's very misleading is when you have an individual that comes up and states false information in regards to pay. Again, just being very negative, and this person is experienced, he knows what he's doing, and we get these comments all the time. I definitely get comments. Sarah, Selma is doing great things. You guys are doing great. Your information is getting out there. And I have to tell you, Mr. Moreno does a lot of that on his own. So I can't wait to see what more he's gonna do to, just take it to that next level. Like we were talking about, this stuff is just, way over, I would say probably my head as well, but he's gonna take our city and showcase our city in a new dynamic. And that's just gonna be more compliments that I'm very, very proud of. So I can't wait to Mr. Jose to get started. And with that, if I can make a motion, I'd like to.
Is that a motion to approve
Yes.
that necessary action on resolution 2025-77R?
Yes.
And I'll second that. Would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Avalos,
Yes.
Councilmember Oseguera,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo.
With that, motion passes. We will move on to our future agenda items. This is the part where council requests for future agenda items which are not subject to public comment. Items require a consensus. Anybody with future? agenda items?
I actually do, Scott. I want information on the last 2 years in our city on our, how many in our workman's comp were used in a workman's comp, areas, how would I say it? Information behind closed session, items that pertain to workman's comp that were, job related and, how would I say it? Job related and injury and stress, all that. I want that last 2 years. You know, the reason why I'm requesting that, I'll be honest with you, is I want to analyze, I want the council to analyze, the situations that in our city, what is, what needs to be rectified and corrected and what direction. Because I want to make sure the employees that work for the city, anybody employees work at the city, I want to identify what is going on, what is happening, so we can facilitate some of these issues to alleviate some of the problems. Okay, so we can identify them. I don't want to hear at the last minute, hey, this is what I want to know beforehand. Get a gauge on what's going on.
Any Councilman Oseguera?
And I want to.
Gotta make sure.
No.
Not done.
I actually want an update of where we're at on the Schaefer lights, on the situation there. And also, I want to know the time frame of our downtown area as far as our trees being, everything being rectified. Where are we looking at as far as our time frame, getting up and running?
I think the Schaefer lights are being produced as we speak. And we just got that memo from Director Hahn.
Okay.
And then the trees, we're planting those, and I can't remember if I know the number we purchased on that.
Yeah, and the bid for the curb, the AC curbs for around the trees should be the 18th. The bid opening for that should be the 18th.
And also, I want to, since I was talking to use your own and David, I want the council to get update on the situation as far as their on the railroad with the fiber optic situation on the where we're at in the time frame. If you can, please, that's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Councilman Oscara.
Okay, I would like to see a report again on the different projects coming up. I know Jerome and I were talking about a gentleman that called me about his sidewalk. He was very upset. So we worked through it and we gave him a date and stuff, so he's all happy now. He said he wants to see it before he dies. I don't know what that's what he told me. He goes, hey, so hopefully we can accommodate that. Also, I'd like to see the breeding come back. The ordinance for the breeding. I know you've been working on it, so thank you again. And what else did I have? Just the Schaefer lights. I know they're working on them, but it'd be nice to see them so we can go turn them on. Yay! And that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Okay, I have a couple too. I'd like an update on our color scheme. I know we talked about 3 colors. I would like some definite color scheme as to what has been approved
For downtown.
for downtown. Also, I'm asking, well, this is brought to my attention. Oh, wait. I'd like to get an update on the homeless issue. And then also on the parking lot north side, I would say northeast. People want to know if that's going to be updated or repaired because there's so much cracks there. When vehicles are trying to park, if you get 2 vehicles that are pretty large and they kind of butt up to each other, you can't get any vehicles to go through there. So
Which parking lot?
it's not our parking lot, the one
It's the southeast corner of High and First, right?
south
That
or north. Well,
the
depends
southeast
which way you're
corner. I
going.
mean, it's the southeast corner.
Cross from Main Voyage.
Yep, across from Main
Southeast corner.
Voyage.
Southeast. Councilman Trio. Okay, I would like to come up with a parking plan for the police station. Because we are losing parking spaces as a result of making our downtown more walkable. So we're losing something and we're gaining something, just like we talked about with the annexation tonight. I would like to make up for those parking spaces with something at the old police station, because there's a ton of parking there. I just don't think people really know about it.
Yeah, I'm talking to the chief. He said that if we remove that one wall, he could open that all up.
That'd be great. They can take
So-
those cars away that are there right now, the
Correct.
junkers, and
Correct.
move it.
So obviously, if you open it up, people know it's there and we can renovate it a little bit. But yeah, we can do that without having to do anything with that building.
Maybe we could ask Moses from FCRTA if he would give people a ride if they can't make it over from, it's not that far, but there may be some
There's some other
disability
options.
issues.
Yeah.
And maybe post a sign there, text this number if you need a ride, or call this number.
But we'll,
They're usually-
we'll look at that and see what we can do.
Sounds good.
And if I could add to that, Mayor, I think also as part of the downtown strategic plan, part of the discussion with the railroad was converting some of the railroad right away to parking as well, because there is ample area near the railroad.
Good.
In addition, I think we got a grant from the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District for mobile carts for events that community services is picking up as well. So we'll have the
Great.
ability to shuttle people around as well.
That'd be awesome. Do we have people to shuttle them? Okay, great. Love to see that. Love to see kind of a structure and a timeline on that. That'd be awesome. Just keep working our downtown, just keep making it better. My next item is the issue with the kitty cats. They're just, the spay and neuter is out of control. I mean, We went to the fentanyl program. Cats are everywhere at the high school. They're at the cemetery. We have a cemetery district, a board member here, and they're working on the cat issue there. We've got them all around and they're just multiplying. And I think if, rather than just not deal with this, I think we're gonna have to deal with it. And I, did talk with a veterinarian today who's really interested in helping with that. If we can get them, you know, put a kennel, put a crate out there and trap them where they're going. This veterinarian said they, even if they're feral, they'll spay and neuter them and clip their ears. So, and then we do what we have to do with them, put them back, or hopefully we can get them adopted. Hopefully someone will, you know, maybe the shelter will come up with more adoption avenues now that there's going to be an animal services manager. But we got to do something. I think we need to marshal our forces here. We can do this problem. We can help solve this problem, make it better. And I think it's getting to that critical point where we need to make sure these cats stop multiplying in the first place, and then work on the, you know, the homes and the rehoming and the placement of them, which we have resources for as well. Okay, with that, we're gonna move on. Scott.
Can I add another one?
Yeah.
I know I spoke briefly, but lights and trees without speakers, it's not gonna work. So I'd like to put that back on the, as an agenda item, because that's what we promised the citizens, and we're gonna do. We allocated 69,000, so let's use our money and get those speakers, because, I mean, we've already compromised too much on different, you know, we're on Plan D now from when we started, so,
We got trees coming in and lights, so we're making progress.
right, so
Not-
I want, yeah, but I want the speakers too, so let's put it on a future agenda.
Agreed.
You know, on the, I'm gonna go piggyback when you said about the cats and the animals. I think Swanson and Farney is gonna have
Oh,
an
yeah.
event
Yep.
with the adoption. And I guess they reached out to the animal shelter and there was no response.
Their response was they were busy.
Um,
They were too busy to go out and
they were
participate in
too
the adoption event.
Oh, they were, our group was too busy?
Our group was too busy. So maybe what they really meant was we didn't have enough staffing. Maybe they didn't, you know, maybe it just didn't work out. But I think in any event, it's unacceptable and we need to participate.
Well,
How many cats, how many dogs could they have adopted that day that we see around?
yeah, and I think, you know, things like that, it come to our community. We should team up, you know, because we don't want our animal shelter full, but we want these animals to get adopted. And and when we have other agencies come in our community, want to adopt, we should pair up with them because even we have the volunteers, we could find volunteers to do this. Even ourselves as council people, we can probably step to the plate and volunteer.
Did it for 8 years. Yep.
Hey, I'm willing to do it, no problem. No,
You know, not bashing, really not bashing the animal shelter. What it tells us is we need more staffing out there. And I think
Yeah.
that a manager is gonna really help us to start moving in the right direction, because we definitely need to, we need to do that. I hear you, council member. We, you know, it all starts, at home. And, you know, helping this problem means bringing it out and looking at the problem squarely and trying to get these, solutions to it. And that's a great event to do that,
and
an adoption event.
yeah, so, look at situations, this brainstorm.
Okay, on to council reports. Councilmember Avalos.
Guess I wasn't done. No, I got to go down to Belmont and look at the trees that we're going to put downtown, or they're putting downtown. We got to pick the trees and everything. It looks fantastic, guys. It's once they're put in play on our downtown area, you'll see some already. Once we put them and you put the lights on or wrap around the lights around the tree, you're going to see a game changer. It go from, but no trees to trees. And it's gonna, and then later on, you know, down the plans, future plans, put music, you know, so we're moving in the right direction is to spruce our community up and get our events downtown. And events are coming downtown. In the last, less than in some January on, we have more events coming into our community than before. And it's showcasing. So, we have to continue doing this because it's a marketing tool. And this is where this individual person that we hired to market our city to bring more revenue into the mix. And when Jerome did that presentation, you know, who comes in our city and everything, it was eye waking opener for who comes to our city to visit. And we have to market those people that come to our city and what they want. And that's what I gotta say.
Thanks. Councilmember Trio.
Me?
Oh, real scary.
I just want to say that this morning I spoke to somebody from Quantum Farney. I guess the young lady's name is Sophia Farney. Because, you know, I like to go out and get free stuff. So I requested a room for Pepe Marquez because he's going to spend the night. Hey, that's okay. Don't laugh. This has a good ending. Trust me. So anyway, she agreed to it. And you know, I said, well, thank you so much for helping us. And this is what she told me. She goes, Councilman, we are all the City of Selma. And she says, we need to form a partnership and we are willing to partner with Selma to help with more events and whatever it takes to become part of this community. I mean, what a wonderful thing to say from somebody. She didn't even know me. She has never met me, just on the phone. So I thought to me that was a great experience to see that there's people out there that are willing to help in any way that they can and to make, you know, events better. I mean, I know a room doesn't sound like much, but it's just them coming forward and say, yeah, sure, you know, we'll help you out. It makes a big difference.
Great. Good job. Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh, I attended the ribbon cutting for our new FCTRA facility, and it was such a great event. We had so many dignitaries there and so many important people, which was outstanding. One comment that stuck to us from another mayor from another city stated that the city staff, people, our dignitaries, our mayor especially, are doers. And I was honored to be recognized as a doer because that's what it takes. It takes people to be doers. And I really, really appreciate that because we get, like I stated, we're getting so many compliments from other cities that are saying, how are you guys doing it? You know, and my comment to them now is we're doers. So I really appreciate, and I was honored by that comment. The other thing is I did, drew a blank, sorry. I just want to say thank you to staff. Thank you to our citizens for always being there and bringing your comments up forward. You know, we're going to do what we can to make everything better. And that's what it takes, is people to share their comments, whether we're going to like to hear it or not, but we're going to try to find solutions because we're doers. So thank you.
Awesome. Councilmember Avalos and I attended the fentanyl. They had a meeting at Selma High with the district attorney, the police chief Alcarez, the sheriff Zanoni, and Lieutenant Gallardo from Special Drug Task Force from the Bay Area. Their numbers up there, people dying from fentanyl, are just incredible. They're so high, terrible. And, you know, we have lower numbers, but they're just as bad. They're just as bad here. However, I will say 3 months ago, when Councilmember Avalos and I went to another fentanyl meeting, it was at Heartland. And I mean, this was with the kids, and we had just had like 3 fentanyl deaths in the last couple weeks, and it was awful. And that was in May, right before school got out. This is right after school got back in, and we haven't had any since then that I know of. So it's not solved. I mean, there's still this poison still coming in both sides of the country. But you know, there's a little bit of progress because I think there's more awareness, more communication about the problem that's happening and how serious this is, and how it's not like shotgunning a beer. I mean, you take one of these M3s and you could die no matter who you are. So it's really, really serious, and I'm glad that, you know, there's so many people that are taking this seriously at the city and state and even national level. Also attended the COG and FCRTA meeting. Measure C continues to rage. It's a very controversial issue, and there are several sides on it. And I think our city's going to need to budget for not having Measure C in the future, just to be wise on this, just in case we don't get it renewed in 2026. Everybody says they want it, but it's coming down to the details now. So hopefully we can make it through this time and we can come up with a plan that the voters will pass. They didn't pass it in 22. Hopefully they'll pass it in 2026. Also went to the FCRTA maintenance facility ribbon cutting. I've been involved with that since 2018. It's been great seeing that from start to finish. And Mayor Pro Tem Guerra nailed it. Juan Mejia from Fowler, he was there, and you know, he talked about all of the elements that came together to make this $20 million public works project happen. And it really was a collaboration, and it was nice to see so many people from our county and from our community and from our four of us from our city council make the effort to show up for that and show support. And you know, it's called the David Cardenas facility because it's named after the Fowler mayor, and it just really kind of shows you that this facility is not just Selma's. Yes, it is in Selma. Yes, it puts us on the map. It's the only kind of charging facility in the country. But at the same time, it's really countywide, statewide, and nationwide. And Dave Cardenas's name, he was a mayor of Fowler who left us far too soon. He was a great guy and really helped our city, just like this maintenance facility will continue to help us for years. We'll now move on to our oral communications. Anybody have anything they would like to say? Grant writer. Good evening, Sonia.
Hello. I just wanted to say that I did prepare one grant so far. And the grant is for the police department, OTS ABC grant. And this one is for impact inspections, shoulder tap, and minor decoy. So this grant will bring about 27,000 for the police department. It's not a big grant, but the one thing though I did tell the chief is this grant doesn't have grant administration. So I did say that I was going to prepare it at no charge for commission. So, and I also told, sat down with just for a few minutes with the deputy city manager. I'm going to meet with him this upcoming week and go over a long list of grants I have.
Great.
So that's what I have for you. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Anybody else?
Thank you. To the doers, thank you again for putting the cats, trying to do something for all the stray cats here. It's really out of hand. Our city allowed it to get to that point from when Second Chance Animal Shelter had cats actually there at the shelter. So it's unfortunate that that also was let go and uncared for. I'm here as a citizen. I'm not speaking on behalf of the board member of the cemetery district, but, and yes, we did, once you guys did put the abandoned ordinance for the city of Selma, I went back to my board and also said, since we have a bunch of stray cats in the cemetery, we need to do our part. They're on our premises and we're liable for those cats and to try to do something. So I got the support from the board members, and we are going to allocate money as well to get somebody to come in and do a TRNA and do our part. I hope other parts of the city also do their part as well. The Selma Unified, hopefully somebody will reach out to the Selma Unified School District to do their part as well and allocate some money for those professionals to come in so we could do the right thing for these cats that are here. It's not their fault that they're here. And if we all come together to do that, and also I think there's a lot of citizens that we speak to that are taking care of all these stray cats. And one thing Isaac Moreno used to do, he allocated money, and he was the finance director for our city of Selma. He also would be transparent on allocating money for vouchers for these lovely citizens of Selma who would take in these cats and take care of them, and instead of always using their own money to have vouchers at some of these vets so they can get them fixed and you know, and then they could hopefully get them adopted out or do something. But we do need some vouchers as well if you guys can allocate some money and help some of these people that are constantly using their money. And you could tell they sometimes they struggle themselves, but they have the love for these animals as well. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Stella Ramirez, Selma, California. I want to just piggyback off of what Mrs. Robertson said. It's true, there is a lot of cats. Right now, I'm currently fostering 7. My neighbor left, like I said earlier, she moved and she left her pregnant cat behind. So that cat had 5. And then after that, dad came as well. So I'm fostering 7, and I don't know if there's any way that the shelter can like have a discount for neutering and and have them spayed, and that way that could help the citizens out that have these pets right now, that have these animals right now. That would be so awesome, because I called around and they're charging over $100 for each. So that would really help out. So that's just what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody online or on the phone with a comment?
Mayor, I see no hands raised at this time.
Bringing the matter back to council just real quick. Also talked with a veterinarian who's willing to give rabies shots for free. All the city has to do is just provide the vaccines, and that we can schedule rabies shot clinics again. We used to do that in the past. We haven't done it in a few years. But this would be a real benefit to the citizens of Selma, and we could start enforcing the animal licenses again. So that's, you get an animal license. All right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to adjourn now. We're going to go into closed session. Appreciate everybody coming out. We're going to go into closed session. This item has been set aside for city council to meet in a closed session to discuss matters pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. The city attorney will provide an oral report regarding the closed session. The items are public employment pursuant to Government Code Section 54957. All departments and positions, conference with labor, and number 2, conference with labor negotiators. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54976, agency designated representative, interim city manager John Kunkel, employee organizations, International Association of Firefighters, Local 3716, and Fire Middle Management Employees Association. We'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll come back for closed session. And